What's up, guys? Welcome into Packers Total Access. My name is Clayton. You can check us out on packernet.com. Find me on Twitter at Packers_access. Email us, PackersTotalAccess@gmail.com. You can text us 865-658-5824. Join alongside Emilio in Tennessee. We've got Tim in Green Bay, and I am in a remote location. All right. So obviously got a sweet ceiling fan you got back there, right?
Great lighting, good ceiling fan.
We'll have plenty of time to talk about the fiasco that has occurred this evening. But first things first, let's give a quick shout out to the good folks over at Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. Wisconsin-based since '92, specializing in Packers tickets. They are Wisconsin's largest ticket source with offices next to Lambeau and in Milwaukee. Click on the link in the video description. That'll send you to theticketking.com where you can register for free as a customer and go ahead and start shopping for your Packers tickets. Again, that's Ticket King, the official ticket provider of Packer Fan Total Access Live. All right, go ahead, Emilio. Say your piece on this this beeping you're hearing back here.
I got nothing to say, man. We're trying to figure out if it's an ankle monitor or if Clayton can't climb up there and change a battery. I don't know, but we'll figure it out.
Oh, we're gonna give him some.
That's the truth, bro.
And you should, man. You should. So I'm trying to think of the. The easiest way to explain what's going on right now. Mandy kicked me out. All right, let's start there. Mm-hmm. And right. we're at a wedding in North Carolina, and some folks that are family of the bride were like, "Hey, don't rent a room. Like, we got a bunch of property up here in Highlands. Just stay in one of our houses." So we hop over in this house, and it's a beautiful place. Nobody's lived here for probably a couple of years. You could tell they keep it maintained, clean, all that good stuff. But Emilio right off the bat said, "Is that a smoke detector chirping in the background?"
Right. You know those videos. You know those videos you see. You're sitting there watching, beep, and he's just sitting there trying to talk like nothing's happening, living his life. That's going to be Clayton the next hour here. Beep.
Tim, what did you say it was?
I said that was your ankle monitor. You know, low battery. You know, the low jack. The cops are looking for you.
What's hilarious is, man, up here there are no cops. I'm telling you, I spent the afternoon up here. And Emilio's going to laugh every time y'all hear that.
That's great.
I went and grabbed some pizza from, I think it was 465 Main is the name of the place.
There you go.
Brick, whatever you call it, wood fire pizza. Oh, my God. So good. I'm over here hurting, man. That's why I'm standing, too. I'm like, if I sit down, I'll be asleep. So,
got to let it all process. Things are moving. Things are shifting right now.
2-0 for this is. Y'all talking about Thomas Austin's murder, baby? Exactly. All right. So listen, we don't want to spend too much time talking about nonsense, but I apologize for the chirp. We're just going to turn it into a drinking game. Every time you chirp, take a sip. All right. That's how this is going to work. But, yeah. So is there anything you guys want to lead off with here? Anything on your mind before we dive into some of the other topics here? We got a bunch lined up though, for sure.
I think we're ready to roll.
All right. Emilio, anything you want to get off your chest at all, sir?
No, I don't think so. I'm pretty excited about this game.
Yeah, me too, man. I think it's going to be a good matchup. I think it's going to be a good measuring stick. Some people think we're going to get boat race. Others think this might be the opportunity for the Packers to take over the North. This is what you live for as a fan, man. These are the type of matchups you want to see just showcased on a week in, week out basis. Anytime you've got division rivals playing, and it being at Lambeau Field and them calling for rain, you couldn't ask for a better setting, in my opinion. The only thing that'd be better is a little later in the year with some snow flying. That's it, right? But I know this earlier in the week, man, we had a really, we had some really good news come out about Edgerrin Cooper winning NFC Rookie of the Week, Defensive Rookie of the Week, right? And then this came down the pike. Xavier McKinney is your NFC Defensive Player of the Month for the month of October. So obviously, Green Bay tweeted this out, said Mr. October, Xavier McKinney is the NFC Defensive Player of the Month. Man, you guys seen his game kind of evolve a little bit, obviously, with the sack. We've seen him in the run fit. We've seen him picking passes off the whole 9 yards. Xavier McKinney is officially in the running for Defensive Player of the Year. There's no two ways about that. Anything you guys want to add to that? How do you guys expect him to play against the Detroit Lions, who are obviously doing a great job protecting the football?
Dominant as usual, always in the right spot as usual, directing traffic as usual, communicating as usual. I expect Xavier McKinney to do Xavier McKinney type things in this game. If anything, I think the fact that he's on the field is going to make Jared Goff and the boys on that Lions offense think twice about throwing his direction. So if anything, look for Jair, look for Javon Bullard, some guys on the back end, maybe getting a pick or making a play, because I think the Lions are going to want to steer clear of the X factor in that secondary. I don't know what you think, Emilio.
All I'm thinking is pack on 3, pack on me, 1, 2, 3, pack. That's how you break it down. I mean,
heard it from a fan right here.
He's there, man, right? How lucky are we that the Giants were just fumbling this one and just said, you know what, you can go ahead and walk in free agency, and Goody was just sitting there licking his chops. What a difference maker, not only, in the 6 interceptions, being player of the month, all that stuff, but he's able to, bring the Thunder, play solid, play smart, be in the right position, and like you said, lock down a half a field, can cover ground. I think Hafley feels so comfortable in cover 2 because he has that range. We're not asking, X to stick in his, 4th of a 53 with field. He can cover 27 yards. You know what I mean? He can get across that field. And I think that's where we've been blessed and really helping where we were last year. And yeah, he's just a man among men back there, running it.
Yeah, and the fact that he's staying healthy too, man, is just
Yep.
It seems like everybody in this defense has been banged up, and Xavier's out there getting more production than anyone. And X continues to stay healthy. It says a lot about him, and it's something that, if I remember correctly, he was fairly healthy his entire time at the Giants too. Availability, accountability, we talk about it all the time. That dude seems to knock that aspect of his game out of the park. Let's go to the chat real quick. Ron Sanville says, I don't think the Packers have a chance to beat the Lions with Willis. We were kind of talking about this. Take a drink. We were talking about this the other day. There you go. United Bates got a smoke detector beep. Who was beeping? Says Craig.
Okay, but we got to make sure it's not hard liquor. All right, just make sure it's like a beer or something, or water. If you take a drink every time it beeps, man, we'll be hydrated for the morning show.
You're going to be dehydrated for the morning show.
No, he not only rambled, but he rumbled and stumbled.
So let's go around the horn with that question. I kind of see it different. Rain in the forecast. If you go run heavy, the weak spot I feel like of the Lions defense. I hear some people saying they're a top 10 run defense. We were showing, how bad they were with yards per carry allowed. They were in the bottom half of the league, if I remember correctly. No, they were slightly below the Packers. The Packers had a better run.
Or something like that.
Yeah. So they were in the bottom half of the league. So with Willis out there, I think it does add a different dimension. We make a big deal out of this sometimes, I think, and not saying Ron's doing this. I'm just kind of thinking out loud. You talk about, he can't pass as good as Jordan, right? Okay, name the throw that he didn't make this year. Now, if it was one game, talking about Willis, if it was one game, I'd go, it's just one game. We've seen him.
What you talking about, Willis?
Exactly. The Dragon Will to Jaden Reed. I mean, that was how many yards down the field was that? 35, 40 yards down the field
something like that.
Fly, right?
He couldn't have ran up there and handed it to him any better than he threw that one. That thing was perfect.
So give me the situation where you think, okay, we get put in this spot right here. Willis can't win us the game. And the only thing that comes to mind for me is like that Tucker Kraft throw down the seam, right? Like that just, that Jordan Love just showcasing the arm talent and threading the needle. Throw like that, maybe. But other than that, man, you look at Malik Willis and the way he's been playing, I don't see it as that much of a difference with the rain included. Because Jordan, they're trying to play in the rain, trying to throw the ball around. You're going to have drop issues. Receivers are going to be slipping. There's a lot of other things that come into factor, right? I don't know. I'm just kind of running what Ron said through the filter here. But what do you guys think about that?
I think this is the first time I've ever disagreed with Ron. Normally, I just totally agree with a lot of what he says, but I disagree. I think the Pack has a chance to beat the Lions with Malik Willis at the quarterback position, and I think we have a chance to beat him with Jay Love at the quarterback position. Of course, we'll find that out 5 minutes before game time, like everyone else will, I guess. But I have faith in Malik Willis. I guess my point is kind of to Clayton's point. What else do we need to see? We saw this guy start, 2 games for us and get dubs. And then we saw him come off the bench in a relief kind of role last week and help secure the dub down the stretch. I feel like he can make those mid-range throws, the short throws, the quick throws. He's great in the RPO and the RPR game. The play action fakes are there. He can scramble with the football, and I believe he can throw it deep. We haven't really asked him to throw it super deep yet, like deep shot play kind of thing yet. But I believe he's capable. He's got a big arm. I disagree. I think we have absolutely a chance to beat the Lions on Sunday.
Didn't get a shot to throw that one deep ball against the Eagles there when he came in. So I'm really, like you said, I think that they do still have a chance with Willis. I think the rain is a big factor. We know where we're cutting. Obviously, their offense knows what they're cutting, but their offense is. I mean, give Jared Goff 75% completion percentage doesn't seem to me like it's going to be there this game. I think he's going to be around 60, 65. Their timing is going to be different. Their routes are going to be a little sloppy. If obviously the field's not going to be a mud pit, but you're not moving the same with that sheen on the grass and playing outside the first time this year. So they got to practice like that, and the way the team responds when Malik's in there, the way they feel, it's not like we're downgrading to a freshman quarterback that's, red shirt freshman, just pulled him up out of high school. He's 14 years old kind of thing. All right.
Or some aging past his prime veteran, right?
Yep. Right in the middle, right in the sweet spot where, hey, this quarterback could go play somewhere else, has the skills, was drafted third, was talked about being a top 10, whatever. He has the ability to do it. And like you said, not too old, not too young, ready. I think it's just his spot. It's where he needs to be in this moment in time, and that's why we're lucky to have him on this team.
Oh,
I agree.
It's all great points there, man. Packers Kingdom says they play zone. You run with Willis read option. They can't contain really in man coverage. You can run or create a mismatch with Reed. Use your running back too in the passing game. It's over all day. They do play a lot of man coverage, if I remember correctly. It's going to be hard for me to see on this small screen here, but I think I've got the coverage chart here somewhere. If you guys will read it off to me, if you could see there are lines toward the top. What is it? It's cover one man they run the most, right? Am I remember?
37% cover one man, cover two man 3%, cover 2 9, cover 3 18, cover 4 20, and cover 6 6%. So it looks like it's cover one man, then cover 4, just because maybe they don't have that safety speed, or they're splitting it up that way.
Yeah.
Or, I'm sorry, cover 3 and then cover 4. So
they look like a 60-40 mix, right? Like 60% zone, 40% man.
Super heavy.
Yep.
With that cover one man. 1, having trust in your corners. 2, having only one back there to save you. The only other team looks like it's Browns are the only other team at 38%.
That's do it too. Yeah.
So
it's true. It's like if they're going to play man, they're going to play man. They're like balls to the wall, sell out man. Otherwise, they're going to be in the zone.
And with that being man, the zone run is key. 1, for handing it off repetitive, get him flowing. 2, Malik can pull it on a read option. 3, if he's going to pull it, you could also do like a late run or read option pass. And I think that when they turn their back in man, we get our guys running downfield, different routes. We got wide receivers that can beat corners or at least have, a good repertoire on the line. Let's get them all worried about the eye candy, run the ball, run the ball, run the ball. All right, peel one off with a read option, and he's gone, right? Hutchinson's not there. They need to make sure they contain. They have to play different, and they got to be coached 2 times this week. 1 if Love's coming in, 1 if Willis is coming in.
Yep.
Good point. All right. So Ari Ironminer says we are screwed with Williams out. Obviously, he's talking about Evan Williams as the injury report dropped earlier today. And I just grabbed this Paul Brettel tweet that makes things a little more simple. It says Packers injury report: Evan Williams is out. Josh Myers is doubtful. Jordan Love, Jair Alexander, Josh Jacobs, and Corey Ballantyne are questionable. So obviously Evan Williams is a no-go. I feel really comfortable saying Josh Myers is probably not going to go. It's rare that they end up playing a guy who's doubtful, right? So You'll probably see Elton Jenkins kick over to center. You'll see Sean Ryan at left guard. You'll see Jordan Morgan at right guard. I would imagine that's what that would look like. Now, hopefully Ja can go, and Josh Jacobs is going to be huge, man. You got to make sure one of those 2 guys, if not both, are in the lineup as well. And then obviously the big one, Jordan Love. So, How do you guys feel about the injury report? And I agree with Evan Williams. It's a very small sample size, but this defense is different with that dude on the field, man.
Yeah, I just disagree with the sentiment that we're screwed without him on the field. I think that's a bit of a stretch, but I totally get where Ari Eierminer is coming from here, with the level of impact that, Evan Williams has had on that secondary and on our defense as a whole. I mean, I can totally understand why you feel that way. I'm just not there. I feel like this team plays for each other. Somebody's going to step up. I don't know who it's going to be, but somebody will. I look at these injuries and yeah, of course, Jay Money's a big question, but yeah, man, Josh Jacobs and Jair, like you talk about two major pieces, especially if we're talking about Evan Williams out of the mix, you need Jair to play. And hell, Corey Ballantyne for that matter. We need all hands on deck. When I look at that secondary without Evan Williams, I'm looking immediately to guys like Javon Bullard, Eric Stokes Jr. to step up and make plays in this defense. I mean, I feel like this team is poised to not get punked in their own building by Detroit. It's just not going to happen. I'm convinced that we're going to get the win. I am. And call me a hopeless homer or an optimist, but I feel like this team's going to step up and they're going to pick each other up. Josh Myers being out on the offensive line, that can throw things out of whack in and of itself. So regardless of who QB1's going to be on Sunday, we need to know who that center is going to be. Like if it is Elton Jenkins, let's start getting the reps. Let's start practicing now because we're going to need all hands on deck to beat the Lions. But I don't think this defense is, totally screwed without Evan Williams. But I definitely agree with the sentiment that it's a different defense without him for sure.
Right. Hafley was talking about it. The fact that Bullard has had to learn the slot most of the year and then on a drop of a dime go up and play safety and learn the safety spot that he wants him playing in and then, back down to slot. Not that he can't do it. It's just that they're asking, a rookie to do a lot. Obviously, we're super lucky with the way Williams has been playing, but it's the same thing for Bullard. They're, learning at different paces, doing different jobs, all that stuff. So you're right. We are going to have to move him around. Is Key going to get moved to slot? And then it's Stokes and Valentine rotating. Potentially, Valentine's questionable. So I know Hafley was talking about Valentine's probably going to get some more reps moving forward. They think that, he's been playing well, practicing well kind of thing. Maybe that's a little bit less for Eric Stokes. We'll see. But with Evan Williams out, it definitely opens up some spots for the other DBs to, make a name or get a little bit more burn in the rotation. And then on top of that, with Josh Myers being out, like Prince was saying here, bad to see Myers as doubtful. Shuffling the O-line when you want to feature the run game isn't great. It's no bueno. So that's also a problem. Obviously, we know Elton can do it. He knows the line. He's been there. He knows the calls, all that. The issue is going to be making sure Jordan Morgan and Sean Ryan are on the same page, where we've seen Sean Ryan turn left into the line that's all zone right. Like he's just head-on collision with Josh Myers. So it's not like we don't have a little bit of a hiccup there. But again,
especially asking Sean Ryan to play out of his normal spot, right? Moving him to the left.
And he wants to be that swing. He wants to be that swing guard. Perfect. I love that. But we got to make sure that you know what call you're on, what side, and make sure we're hammering that. And like you said, we can't be confused in that moment in time, especially if we got Malik out there and Elton's at center. All that stuff is a daisy chain. I really think that's probably our only O-line combination, right? We're not going to move Zach Tom in. We're not going to do anything super fancy, you don't think? I think that's our only option.
I agree. We're not going to bring Matt Orzic in to play center. So, yeah.
I was sitting here thinking, too, with Evan Williams being out, it's like, okay, who's going to step in? Obviously, Javon Bullard can play safety. Here's the question. Do you put Keyshawn Nixon back in the slot in those nickel snaps? They play a lot of 12 personnel, but we're still going to be a nickel more than base.
Right.
But then you start to think, okay, do you kick Javon Bullard down there on the nickel and bring in Oladapo? And that's what Coach Lynn was saying. Do we see Oladapo at all on defense now that Williams is out? Like, who is that other safety? Who is that other safety?
I think it's KT. I would agree. I think it's KT.
Is it Zane?
Huh?
Is it Zane?
That guy's not even real. Stop. No, I think it's KT Oladapo as your number 2, and I think you put Bullard back there with McKinney, and then you run hopefully Jair and Keyshawn, and then you may have to run Stokes or Valentine or somebody on that boundary, but I don't know. I don't know about putting Bullard in the slot after what we saw these past couple of weeks.
Honestly, we'd be lucky if they stick in 12 longer. Then we could just run three linebackers as much as possible. Rotate our 3 backers.
Eric Wilson, Quay Walker, and Edgerrin Cooper. I'd love to have that instead of trying to march out, maybe a safety that hasn't played much or putting Javon over there in the slot, right?
Right.
Well, like I said, do we just put Cooper back there at safety? I mean, he can run. We've seen him in that Tampa too. I mean,
how about cuss just now, man? That unbelievable. I can't get over it. I've watched it 1,000 times, and every time I watch it, I still shake my head like, how did he get back like that, man? And again, I know people don't like it when you mention, a young player in the same light as a Hall of Famer and like a Derek Brooks. I'm pretty sure Derek Brooks is in the Hall of Fame if I remember correctly. But like that, there's only a handful of guys in the history of the game at the middle linebacker. Let me tell you, Ray Lewis ain't making that play, guys. He was a different kind of linebacker. He's not making that play down the seam, right? Yep. Like what Edgerrin Cooper did on that play was just remarkable. It really was.
And Ray was a downhill guy, but he could cover. He was a cover backer too, but not running Tampa 2 all the way up the middle of the field like that.
Right. And Hafley even said it. He said, honestly, he sold it too much. He wasn't supposed to take 3 steps towards the line or towards a quarterback and then have to, haul tail all the way up the field sort of thing. So he's like, honestly, I wish he wouldn't have sold it so much and gotten back there and not make it as hard on himself. But, it was a great play. It was a great highlight reel. Said ideally next time, we're not going to make it that hard. And against, maybe a different quarterback, they make you pay. That ball's out sooner. It's, it's on his upper shoulder and he's moving. But
yeah. Coop just said, I wake up in the morning and I just piss excellence.
Oh, definitely.
So, that was no problem for him.
Please be 18.
Yeah.
Yeah, what a movie, man. I'll tell you, they couldn't do that today, and rightfully so, right? I mean, my goodness, man. That's let me tell you, the times have changed, folks. So AFM says, I thought it was my own smoke detector, is what he said. You would be that person, AFM. You would. Prince in the chat says Nixon will have his hands full with Laporta. I haven't dove too much into how they deploy their tight end. I can't imagine that you would have your slot nickel covering the tight end, right? I would imagine it's going to be a backer or maybe Xavier McKinney. What you'll probably see is whoever is playing safety opposite Xavier McKinney will spend less time in the box, and they'll probably do a little bit of a matchup with Xavier McKinney on Sam Laporta. I don't know how you guys feel about that. That's the first thing that comes to mind for me. Rotate him down when you're in cover of one man and he's not patrolling center field, he being Xavier McKinney, then let him stick on Sam Laporta there. You might even bracket him a little bit too when X isn't covering. But I don't expect to see Keyshawn really cover him. Do you guys?
No, I agree with your approach there. Because, Laporta's probably one of their bigger weapons in the pass game, right? Other than Amon-Ra St. Brown. So,
right.
Yeah, you got to account for
him.
That
would be the matchup right there with the slot is Amon-Ra.
Right. That's what I was going to say. If you're talking about Keyshawn having his hands full, it's probably going to be Amon-Ra getting flexed into the slot on some of these looks. But, I don't know. I think it's going to be tough to go man up on any of these guys, really. And hopefully we lean towards zone in this game. But, you can't be one dimensional. You're going to have to mix in some man looks. But I would agree. I would anticipate they probably use X in that fashion rather than putting it all on Keyshawn's plate.
I almost think it'd be Bullard, honestly, if we can give him the faux slot look or, have him walk down kind of thing. The problem is once we pick someone, it can't be all game, right? It can't be X or Bullard the entire game covering Laporta, or else Jared Goff's going to sit on that and know, X is all the way down on the line of scrimmage and he's going to peel back up to cover Tampa 2. It's going to be nothing by the third quarter. But, if we're always rolling the safety back down for Bullard to cover Laporta. So I think you're right, Tim. We definitely need to keep an eye. I think we need to be a little bit harder in zone. Use man sparingly, maybe on those man zeros or man blitzes kind of thing, and man up, get there quick and get it over with.
Or even offset it with some big nickel once in a while and just put all 3 DBs out there. And then if you're going to drop one down, you're going to drop one down. We just play big that way. I think we're going to have to throw everything in the kitchen sink at Detroit. I really do. So hopefully it's everything we're talking about.
We're going to get a trick play.
I wouldn't be surprised at all. I just hope we're not the ones running it. I hope we're all over it when Detroit tries to run it.
Right.
It's about time for them to run that double reverse pass. So LaFleur run it and me throw something at the TV again.
Yeah, I'm waiting for Josh Jacobs. I'm waiting for the classic old halfback pass.
Now, I'll be okay.
If I see one more jet sweep in a red zone, I'm going to puke.
Philip Rude in the chat says, I think even if we end up 6-3 with Willis, but with healthy Love, we're fine. I completely agree, Philip. And now think about this. What if we keep it close with Detroit? Let's say Willis plays and Love sits. Now, to me, it kind of seems like Love is trending towards playing. I could be wrong there. But let's say that Willis does play and we lose by less than 10 points. You're feeling good going into the bye week at 6-3, and you hung with arguably the best team in the league with your backup quarterback. And you know what I'm saying? Like, there's still some momentum to be had there. What you can't do is get boat raced out there. I don't care if Uncle Rico is playing QB, right? You can't get raced in Lambeau in front of the home crowd with the division leader in the house, right? So
hey, look at who that secondary was last year. I was at that game last year. I had to see Darnell Savage getting roasted all day long. I had to see Jonathan Owens getting torched all day long. We're not going to see that on Sunday.
You should have asked for a damn refund, Tim. All right, let's see here. 2-0 for this in the chat says, I've got faith that this team with Love or Willis. That's kind of where I'm at. 2-0 for this is like Willis has played well within the scheme, and there's going to be opportunities. And like I said, if the rain's going to hold up like the forecast was calling for, I think I still got it here. I haven't got it updated yet lately. So Tim, if something's changed, you let us know. But as of yesterday, we're calling for an 80% chance of rain and wind between 10 to 20 mile an hour and no chirping from the Lambeau Field smoke detectors. I got
an update. You want an update?
Yeah, let's hear it, man.
According to my AccuWeather, 94% chance of rain.
Do you have an insider? Tim?
It's just refreshed on the phone.
There you go. What'd you say? I'm sorry, I cut you off. What's the forecast?
53 degrees of a high, 94% chance of rain tomorrow. So Sunday. So, it's going to be a wet one for sure.
Nice.
But it is Green Bay, and there is a chance it could be, not raining. Because if you know anything about Wisconsin, if the weather bothers you, just wait 5 minutes. It will change. So we'll see what happens.
Yeah. Holmes in the chat says, any given Sunday, don't sit in the worry chair. Malik will be fine. I love it.
Let's go. I'm rolling with Holmes right there.
That's right.
Like
Ron Sample says, I'm very confident in beating them with Jay Love playing. So obviously if they march 10 out there, he's going to feel a lot better about it. Greg Rice says, question, how the heck do you switch a smoke detector? Now he says, how the heck do you switch between cover 1 man and cover 4, cover 3 and disguise them? That seems like a lot of territory to cover. I
don't know. I'm not a doctor.
Probably would have agreed with you last year, but have you guys seen Xavier McKinney mugging the C gap and then getting all the way back center field to cover deep post safety? It's insane, man. I think that throwing that many looks at a team, I haven't looked at their pre-snap alignment. Do they show the same pre-snap alignment all the time, or do they mix and match it, as the game goes along? But I understand what you're saying, man. It is a lot of ground to cover, but I don't know, man. I just think the main thing you want to key in on is cover 1 man and cover 4. What passing concepts beats that, right? And if they are going to play cover 4, that means they're in some sort of shell or late rotation. So what you don't want to happen, especially a young quarterback like Malik Willis, is go out there and see them loading the box and think, okay, I've got 0 or I've got middle field close, then snap the ball and they're in cover 4. That would really.
I run that all the time in college football. Come out in the cover 3 shell. You got one safety over the top. You got your box filled with 7-8 guys, and immediately back into cover 4 shell. So I mean that's And that's the eye game. That's where you get into seeing ghosts and all that stuff. And I don't think I don't think that's gonna happen to Malik. One, because I don't think Matt's gonna put him in that situation. He's not gonna have him sit there and drop back and, all right, let's read your right side progression. All right, scan over to your left side. Is that like Clayton was saying, is that a man beater? Is that a zone beater? Cover 3-4, whatever. I think he's gonna marry up the run the pass, same formation, sifts, all that, just so that it's easier on the team. Because why make it harder on Malik, and why make it harder on your new center? Not Josh Myers, Elton Jenkins in there. You got your rookie right guard. All those things are going to start piling up on them. It's going to be a possession game. How efficient are we with those possessions? How many turnovers? I don't think we can give one up, right? I know how many games have we had a turnover? I think we're on a 4 or 5 game streak, I think, where we've had a turnover. So we definitely need to clean that up. I know Matt's, I'm sure, in their ear about that. If we don't turn the ball over and the Lions in the second quarter, we need to hold them on defense and we'll be all right, because their point scoring is something along the lines of like 40 to 60 points in the first, like over 100 in the second quarter, and then the third and the fourth it drops off, 30 to 10, 15, something like that. So as long as we can take that barrage in the second, get through it, get through the middle 8, we'll be in great shape. We really will.
Yeah, I think it's very well said. 2-0 for this in the chat said, this is the time where the true ballers step up. Completely agree. And hopefully Josh Jacobs is healthy. Obviously, he's 4th in the league right now in rushing yards at 667, right behind Jordan Mason, right? This is such a small screen. Jordan Mason at 685. So we're looking for Josh Jacobs to potentially take over that number 3 rushing spot. Ain't nobody catching Derrick Henry if that dude stays healthy, man. My God. You can go to Next Gen Stats or onto NFL Pro and watch all of his runs where he cracked 20 mile an hour. He leads the league in 20 mile per hour runs, man. Derrick Henry. That is insane. Absolutely insane. But Josh Jacobs is going to be a vital, vital key to them winning on Sunday. If you told me Jordan Love was out and Josh Jacobs was in, I would feel better about the Packers winning that game than Jordan Love being in and Josh Jacobs being out, me personally.
Right.
And that's really weird to say. And then this is going to be too small for me to read here, but if someone would read this to the listeners, I put it earlier for PFF Green Bay Packers. Go ahead.
Yep, PFF Green Bay Packers. Josh Jacobs has big play potential against the Lions. Jacobs has been a big play threat for Green Bay, ranking 4th in explosive runs among running backs this season. Missed tackles from Detroit, 27th missed tackle rate, could give him a chance to boost that total. So I think that's a great point. I was just looking at what the Detroit Lions have been giving up. So for first downs, they've given up 38 rushing first downs on the season, 88 passing, and 24 by penalty. So it's obviously not their main give up. They're more in the passing game, but I do like that it's possible for us to get those numbers kind of up. So about half the first downs are given up are run versus pass.
Got it. Tim, what do you think about this with Josh Jacobs, man? I think it sounds like it's a pretty darn good matchup here against the Lions, right? With that 27th in missed tackles.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's going to be more if we're playing sloppy football in the elements. And this will be a good chance to really see Jacobs cooking, in the elements with a wet field. We know he's agile, he's strong with the football. I anticipate him being one of these guys on this list, like Too Old for This is talking about. This is the time where the true ballers step up. And if you're healthy, you're available, you're in the lineup, you got to get out there and execute. We need all of these guys to step up in order to beat the Lions. I guess my one concern is with us playing a little bit of musical chairs on that old line, is that going to affect our run game at all on Sunday when it comes to like run blocking and things like that? We know this line is kind of struggled with run blocking in general. It's not really their strong suit. So let's see how he looks behind this lineup. But I would anticipate that Matt LaFleur's probably going to be leaning on Josh Jacobs in this game plan, but is not going to hesitate to throw Brooks and Emmanuel Wilson out there as well. I think we're going to throw everybody at this Detroit Lions defense. But I do. I think it favors the matchup. Josh Jacobs, especially if we can mix up the run looks. Maybe we run outside zone. Maybe we run some A-gap runs, mix it up inside, outside, run some tosses, counter, whatever we have to do. Dig into the depths of that playbook. And you already know Josh Jacobs can handle it. So I fully expect him to step up big time on Sunday.
Yeah, I would just be happy if the O-line doesn't hold. And just let him get whatever plays he does. Because honestly, if that was the case, you just block and don't hold. I'll take all of Josh Jacobs' runs, right?
I keep seeing that cutback where he made the two guys miss and that dirt kicked up. Bro, it's like that. We've seen some awesome cuts with
a bum ankle. With his ankle. Yeah. I think his ankle was hurt at that point.
Absolutely. Yeah. It was later in the game. Just crazy. So when you talk about the true ballers too over this, that's who I think of as Josh Jacobs right off the bat, man. Antonio Universe in the chat said the Pack have to play off cover 3 in this game and be tactical about when they want to shut down the under routes. They don't want Goff to get hot hitting those intermediate to deep routes. Completely agree. It's kind of that nobody wants to hear it, but that's that Joe Barry ball, right? Keep everything in front of you and make them use
no hard flats. Everybody's in hook, curl, and shell. That's it, man. Yeah, we're just trying to stop the 7 yards and up. I don't care what they do underneath. They're going to try to get it in Montgomery's hands, St. Brown's hands, all those things. So and with the weather is going to be key. I don't know how often, Jared Goff's going to want to try to push it down. He's only thrown 4 picks this year. So it's not anything that he's trying to force it downfield. I think you just play their game, keep it in front of you, play the long game, keep him on the field, let him make a mistake. Right. Or we make a turnover.
I agree. I think even without Evan Williams, I trust our secondary enough that we're not going to get lit up over the top. So I think you be a little bit more aggressive rather than playing off on these guys and letting them run underneath you all day. Because that's been the formula for Detroit kicking our ass these past couple of years, is they just hit those underneaths, pound the run, and then when they get the option to take a shot downfield, they do. I think we can take away half of that from them by just playing aggressive.
Yeah, and the other thing too is with Evan being out and it's going to be Javon Bullard back there playing safety. What's Javon Bullard's strengths? Tackling and in run game, right? He struggles in coverage. So with that being said, let's let X patrol deep. You can go that route. Now keep in mind you got Sam Laporta, so it might be something that you do play a little cover 6 and let X kind of play match in his quarter there. When it comes to that deep quarter coverage on the 4th side of the cover 6. You could play it that way and just let Javon Bullard play underneath and be aggressive and help in the run game and all that good stuff. But I just don't like the idea of Javon Bullard having to play that deep post safety, especially with a potent offense like Detroit. You got to be aware of that for sure. AFAM says Clayton burned the frozen pizza last night so bad it permanently broke the smoke detector. I wasn't even here last night. All right, we rolled into town this afternoon, so you can't blame me for this one. I'm just saying. Holmes in the chat. RPR duo power with some shots sprinkled in. Jacobs and Wilson are no slouches. Brooks is good as well. I have all the confidence in the world in these running backs, man. I really do. If Jacobs is healthy, like I said, if Jacobs goes out, I feel good about Wilson. I feel good about Brooks. I think he's averaging under 4 yards a carry right now, although it'll be a small sample size. But if you have to go into this game without Jacobs, I'm not feeling as good about the running game. But boy, if Jacobs can, like you said, I mean, you made me feel a lot better just now, Emilio, talking about how he was making those cuts even after he hurt his ankle. It's like, yeah, he's probably going to go.
And the way he talked in his interview was like, no, dude, if it comes down to that, I'm going to put the team on my back. Like he carried, how long did he carry the Raiders? You know what I mean? He took that one to the house against Seattle in overtime. It's they have it. He has it, and they're going to turn up if Willis is in for sure.
Yeah, and Josh Jacobs. So he was limited the last 2 days, right? So
he was did not participate Wednesday. Yep, and then limited, and questionable.
Perfect. Yeah. So I would say he's going to go, man, no doubt. And the other thing too is we dropped this down. Appreciate you, Holmes. Good comment there, buddy. You notice they got 3 guys out as well. If you want to read those off, Emilio, I think it is important to kind of get an idea of who is out for the Lions here.
Okay, let me see.
If you can pronounce their name, they got some tough ones. Let me tell you, bud.
So the first one that is out is Broderick Martin, knee.
What
weird. weird. He's a defensive tackle, but he had a knee injury, full participation all week, and then out on game day. So a little odd. Josh Pascal, he had illness, did not participate all 3 days, and he is out. The last person was Malcolm Rodriguez, linebacker, ankle, did not participate all week and out. And the two that are doubtful is Sione Vaki, the running back safety hybrid, and his knee did not participate Wednesday, full participant Thursday, did not participate on Friday, and doubtful. And then Makai Wingo, D lineman, ankle, was not listed Wednesday, limited Thursday, did not participate Friday, and is doubtful. And Vaki's been playing crazy good on their special teams too. I'm pretty sure he's leading them in special teams tackles, and so that could be a big loss for him, especially with how we know their special teams works.
Yeah. I appreciate you reading that off there. Ron Samble in the chat says, way more concerned with the Lions running game than with Goff. Am I in left field there also? LOL.
No, they're a good pair.
I think their yards per carry is actually in the bottom half of the league, right? Is that correct, guys? Or was that the metric that we seen on the Team NFL Defense website that talked about that? Do you guys remember by chance?
I'm trying to remember, yeah.
I'll try to pull it up real quick. Let me see if I can get this. This thing's liable to start smoking here. I'm using this tablet to do the show. So
I understand where Ron's coming from here. Like at the end of the day, we're talking about a wet weather game, right? It's going to be cold and rainy. We're talking about possible low scoring, the elements affecting the offense. We sit here and talk about our run game all day. Yeah, of course. We have to account for Detroit's run game. I can tell you, regardless of where they're sitting, yards per carry or statistically, you still got to account for it. It's a part of a complete offense, right? And there's no such thing as a top 5 or top 10 offense in the NFL that doesn't have some semblance of a run game. So we have to account for that. And I agree with Ron's point that, maybe it's, a little bit more of a concern, looking at that running game than it is at, Jared Goff just picking apart our secondary. I mean, our secondary is our strong suit when it comes to our defense. I know we're banged up, but I think if we neglect the run and we're not disciplined in those run fits, that we could have a big problem. And it is not going to be Jared Goff throwing unders or taking shot plays. It's going to be us getting ran up and down the field. So our linebackers have to step up. Our D line has to step up, and we got to account for the run game, regardless of where they're at right now.
Yeah, I did a quick check here too. Detroit is actually 5th in the league, tied for 4th. I'm sorry, at 5.1 yards per carry. So they're
the real deal.
Spot on there, Ron. They're actually better than us yards per carry. So
3 yards shy of 1,100 yards on the season rushing.
All the more reason to not fall back into that, that kind of deep zone kind of coverage. Keep everything in front of you. I mean, you're just going to let them break off 5 and 8 and 10 yard chunk runs on you all day. So, we have to play aggressive, but disciplined. I'd be more. My main concern is not getting lit up in the run. I'm with Ron on this one for sure. I don't want to get lit up in the run game. I'm not worried if we give up the occasional explosive deep to the flat or something along the boundary, because we're playing aggressive up front and not letting them run all over us. Because if we take away the shots and nobody's throwing the ball anyway, who cares? It's going to be raining. We gotta stop the run game.
Clayton's muted.
Sorry about that. Yeah, obviously I'm trying to keep the chirp out of y'all.
No, I got you. No, you're good.
Appreciate it. So you're spot on, Ron. Again, man, they got a solid running game, no doubt. And like you were saying, Tim, you play back and play it too safe there, man. You're going to get smacked in the mouth with the run, no doubt. So you just got to go out and play your game, man. You got to play your game. Now those run stunts will help quite a bit as well. Obviously the Packers run defense has been pretty solid this year. Matter of fact, let me hop over here real quick. I can't put it on the screen because the tablet may blow up. But if we go rushing defense, and let's just go opponent yards per rush attempt here, the Green Bay Packers are 8th in the league at 4.3. This is why I felt like we had the advantage in the running game overall. We've got the 8th best running defense, actually tied for 7th with the New York Jets at 4.3 yards per carry, and Detroit is 22nd at 4.7. So obviously you're just looking at 0.4 of a point, but still we're a little bit better at stopping the run than they are. So that does that counter, the whole we're like eighth in offensive rushing and they're fifth. It's just going to be a hell of a ball game, man. It really is. And I have a hard time believing too that Jordan Love's going to just be like, yeah, let's just wait a week. He's going to want to go out there, man. That dude's a competitor. You're probably going to see Jay Love out there, man. Again, the footage I've seen of them having him out there practicing in the rain, he looked like he was moving around pretty good. Some people were saying, he's still running a little gingerly, and others were saying, well, it's raining out. Obviously, you got to watch your footing on that wet field. But what do you guys think? Do you think Jordan's going to play? Because when you look at the line here, you guys remember it opened up at 3.5. Green Bay was plus 3.5. So it's moved a half a point towards Green Bay. They're still 3-point underdogs right now. The Green Bay Packers are. So I think what the sharps seen there and with the money that may have came in, probably expecting Jordan to play in this game. Do you guys see it that way, or do you think there's a good chance that Malik is the guy that goes out there?
Go ahead, Emilio.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I think that it's it was more leaning towards Jordan possibly playing when he went out Thursday. I think if he didn't practice in the rain Thursday, that would have been a big deal. But with him, with that happening, if he's stretching every day, maybe it is feeling good enough to play. If he really doesn't have to run around. But again, like I'm pretty sure you've said it before, Clay. Maybe not for this week specifically, but maybe previously, like, hey, if Jordan's not cutting it, let's just slice him out of there and call it a day. But if he feels good enough to go by game time, all right, fine, go out there and see how you do in the first quarter. But if it's getting out of hand and we're starting to get dog walked in the second quarter, we need to make a change, because that's where they're gonna, that's where their team, turns it on and gets hot and makes other teams pay. So I think that's something that we need to keep in mind. If he does play, then it's gonna be something Matt needs to jump on fast if it gets out of hand. But I could see them thinking that he's going to play with the line like that.
I agree, and I look to what Coach LaFleur talked about after last week's game. The fact that Jordan felt like he couldn't protect himself out there. And if he feels like he can, and he looked good yesterday in the elements, and he's feeling okay, and he feels like he can move around in the pocket and scramble if he needs to evade any kind of pressure, and doesn't feel like he's putting himself in harm's way excessively, I think he's going to play. I think we saw last week that he tweaked something with that groin, or that whatever you want to call it, groin,
right,
knee, whatever, that stuff all works together. I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but he did everything he could to stay in that football game. Like they were going to have to drag him off the field, and it turned out they literally almost had to, because he basically collapsed on the sideline trying to play football. So I think if he feels that way going into Sunday's game, they're probably going to not let him go. But if he feels good and he's agile and feels light on his feet and can get it done, I think they're going to run him out there. It's a divisional game. This is a huge matchup. And, maybe that's kind of part of the install this week, is that Matt LaFleur came up with a game plan for this offense that it doesn't matter who's under center. If Jordan's out there, Jordan's going to run this game plan. And if Malik has to come in, Malik's going to run this game plan. And this is how we're going to attack the Detroit Lions defense. I think, that would be my suspicion as to what they're probably looking at. Put an install in that we don't have to start tweaking things a few minutes into the game if something happens.
right.
And then if we get a late scratch, let's say Jordan runs out there, Sunday morning and something's not right, and now we got to get Malik under center and have him start, then fine. We don't have to throw the whole game plan out of the window. We're ready to roll. I just think that if Jordan feels like he can protect himself out there, I think he's going to play. I think you'd have to handcuff him to the railing to get him not to take the field on Sunday.
Yeah, I agree. So as the line sits currently with the DraftKings sportsbook with the live odds, the Packers are 3-point underdogs currently. The over-under is set at 47.5, and the money line juice is on the Packers at plus 124.
Only 3-point underdogs, huh?
Isn't that wild?
And it's underdogs. There are dogs on this team.
Now, also keep in mind, this is what we always talk about. It seems like on average, the home team in the NFL gets 3 points, right? So that would suggest it's closer to a 6-point game, meaning if this was played in Detroit, it might be a 9-point game, right? It might be like a +9 or even a +6, somewhere between 6 and 9, I would imagine. But I'm with you though, Tim. I see that +3, and then it started at 3.5, and then shaved off to 3. It's like, let's go, boys, getting a little bit of respect here from the Sharps.
Yes,
And
sir.
it's exciting. So, Emilio, can you or Tim, either one, can you guys read those key statistics there in the middle column? If you can't, it's okay. I figured we'd hit that and then wrap up. We're showing the points per game, all that good stuff.
Yep, I got you. So points per game, we have the Lions at 33.4 in first, and the Packers at 27 even. That is sixth. It's not terrible. I mean, that's two offensive powerhouses. Honestly, I'm surprised we're not a Sunday night game. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is going to be the show to be on. You know, this is what everyone's going to watch. Who cares what's on CBS, right? It doesn't matter. Even if there was another game on that you could get, everyone's going to want to watch this game with that kind of offense. But the weather is going to be so huge, man.
Ain't no problem.
Yeah, no, it is.
That ain't no problem.
Well,
It's going to be must-see TV, man. I mean,
Yep.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome.
So
Tim,
second point.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
My bad. Point differential. They are Lions are +100. That's first in the NFL, +100. Okay. Packers are in eighth at +46. So they've got double the points that we've scored. That's one they blew out. You know, the Titans and everything like that. But that second quarter is where they've put up 100 points in general. So if you look at it like that, you could say the second quarter is where they're making their hay and just ride out the first, third, and fourth. But I think that's something we need to keep in mind.
for sure.
We have the record in close games. The Lions are 3-1. The Packers are 4-2. The average margin of victory, the Lions are sitting at fourth at 17.3. Packers are 20th at 8.8. We like our close games. Turnover differential, the Lions +10 in second place, and the Packers are +7 in fourth place. And then finally, the penalties, the Lions are in 16th with 50 penalties, and the Packers are in 27th with 57 penalties. That needs to get cleaned up.
We'll be good. We got Cleet Blakeman out there on Sunday. We'll be good. He's gonna be throwing them flags at Detroit Lions all day.
We'll be set.
I love it, dude. And I've got it saved on the computer at home. Emilio, you wasn't on the show were you on the show last night, Emilio? Were you? Yeah, you were.
Yeah.
No. Yeah. Anyway, we got the referee statistics now. Each crew every week updated so we could see who's leading the way and throwing flags. Tim, remind them again who's throwing the most flags this year. As far as
it's definitely our guy, your guy, everybody's guy, Mr. Ronnie Tolbert. The man, the myth, the legend.
Actually,
as seen on Reno 911, Ron Tolbert.
Dude, I actually wasn't on last night. You guys did the afternoon one. That's right. So I wasn't
That's
on.
what I was
Yeah.
So
I remember listening to it. Yeah.
So Ronnie Boy is number one with the flags, and good old Cleet Blakeman is, I believe, he's second, right after him, and he does not like the road teams. So,
but if I remember correctly, Cleet Blakeman, or no, was it Ron Tolbert who's officiated one less game than the other guy? Like whoever was leading.
Yeah,
had one less game, so it was like, holy cow, this guy's
whoever called the Jets Houston game last night was trying to catch up. Man was that was out of hand.
It was, man, no doubt. All right, let's wrap up in the chat here. Harry Cheese says, "Just need sound tackling. Don't let Detroit's Yak boys get their yardage." Amen. And I'll tell you what I want to see. I want to see a little angle route or a little delay release from Tucker Kraft, and just make a fool out of that secondary for Detroit, man. Just turn it upfield. That dude is just so much fun to watch, man. God, I love it. Ron Samble in the chat says, "I listened to some Lions podcasts today, and they are the same as us. They're more nervous overall." That's awesome. That's awesome. I've met a lot of cool Lions fans, although I don't go to a whole lot of games. Obviously, Tim, you've had a different experience being up there in the bowl with some of those knuckleheads, right? You get enough Miller Lite in you, man. It gets out of control quick. Doesn't it?
It's crazy. I tell you, last year was the first time I ever had a problem with any Lions fans. Usually they've been pretty cool and respectful, after, the better part of 30 years or so of getting their asses kicked in the division. Now all of a sudden that they're remotely relevant, they like to they like to run their mouths a little bit. Yeah, got a little out of hand. But no, I fully anticipate this is going to be a way better scenario for us, considering what's at stake here. I mean, this is for first in the North, guys. Let's be honest. It's a divisional game. It's got playoff implications already.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game. Another game.
We're gonna win the game. It's all good. I promise you that. But no, seriously, like it sounds good to say, yeah, well, if we lose, we'll be 6-3 into the bye, and but then we got the Bears coming up, another divisional game. So like, I don't want to entertain that narrative at all. We're gonna beat Detroit on Sunday. We're going 7-3 into the bye like we're supposed to do, or 7-2 into the bye like we're supposed to. And we're going to handle our business the rest of this year. We have got to have that killer instinct. And if we get ahead, if we get a lead in this game, 1-score lead, I don't care what it is, we got to build on it and we got to step on their necks, because Detroit is a team you cannot let hang around. Mm-hmm. We talked about the close game favoring us, but we've got to do what we can to protect that football and get out of here with the dub. And so I don't have to deal with any annoying Detroit Lion fans. Like Lester here in the chat. Go Lions. That's all right. That's the least annoying Lions fan I've seen so far. I'm all for it.
Sit your butt outside.
Exactly. They came up.
We'll be sitting outside on Sunday in the rain.
Came up to Tim in the stadium. He was
How
like,
about
what?
these hands?
Hey man, I'm just gonna tell you, I don't care what team you cheer for. You ain't gonna disrespect my mama in the stands and expect me not.
That's the truth. That's
somebody getting smacked in the mouth. Mama's worth getting that lifetime ban. I promise you that. There ain't no two ways about that. Good to see you in here, Lester. Good luck to you this weekend, man. Y'all got a hell of a squad.
Swing back in tomorrow morning. Tomorrow probably evening, Sunday morning pregame, or Sunday right before the game pregame, and then hop in Sunday after the game. And bring your friends.
Yeah, bring your friends.
I will say this: shout out to Lester and the Lions fans, because Detroit, being an actual good football team, makes the entire NFL better right now. Mm-hmm. The fact that we are clicking in this division, it's better for football. The Lions being the laughing stock of the NFC for a long time, those days are over with, and the NFL is better for it right now, man. The NFC North is humming right now.
Yeah, no, there's no two ways about it, man. And listen, Dan Campbell, I'm not going to sit here and BS you. I would not rather have him than Matt LaFleur as a head coach, but I can't think of another coach in the league that's not named Bill Belichick that I'd rather have as the head coach for the Packers if Matt LaFleur wasn't the coach. Dan Campbell's a real deal, man. He is. There's no two ways about it. He just, I don't know, he's got this toughness to him that just trickles down all through the entire organization. And if you've got a tough football team, you got a chance to win every weekend. There's no doubt about it.
It's true.
So good luck to you guys. I think it'll be a good match. I think it'll be a lot better than what some are saying. Like, we'd shown this all week. And thanks for swinging through, Lester. Appreciate you. We showed this grab earlier, and I'm going to continue to show it because guys, you're talking about everybody picking the Lions to win this game. I still haven't seen one national media member pick the Packers. I could be overlooking. If you guys know who it is, shout them out. But right now, it's everyone seems to think Lions going to win this, no problem. I think it's going to be it's got a chance to be a good game, man. Especially if that weather, if we do get a 94% chance of rain, it rains the entire game, man. It's going to be a blast. Not for you, Tim.
If it rains the entire game, I don't think either one of these teams is putting 30+ up on the board. So you can take those score predictions off. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game.
Yeah, and that over-under set at, 49.5, I think, right now. So,
yeah,
it's going to be interesting. You got anything else, Amelia?
He's not going to be happy. Not in the rain.
Yep.
Anything else, Phil? We're going to go ahead and wrap it up here so the chirping stops bothering everybody. We appreciate everybody hanging out.
Whoever's kept up with that, man, I hope you're standing up straight or at least sitting down.
Call an Uber.
Yeah. Put the keys in the jar at the center table and just go hang out for a little bit. But no, man, we got a big game coming up against the Lions. Like Tim said, we got to go out and win it. If we don't, we got to battle. And whoever's out there at quarterback, they got to play for them. We're gonna be shuffled around on offense and defense, secondary for defense. O-line for offense. We got to keep that in mind, and just, kind of gives you something to look at during the game. Where we have all these new pieces in, or where we've rotated around, is that where the Lions are beating us? Is that where we're struggling? I think that's going to be key.
Yeah, Reeve says, how dare them in our house?
How dare you?
Maybe we could just put the beeper in like the Lions' house or something. Just like, send the smoke alarm home with them.
We're gonna beat their tails at Lambeau. That's what we need to do. Protect 1265. Enough of this. I don't.
That ain't no problem. Huh? That ain't no problem.
Well, it has been these past couple of years.
Here's the guy.
I think it ends on Sunday. I think we get the dub. Man. By field goal again.
Like I said, I just want it to be a competitive game. I want the Packers to be right there in it in the fourth quarter, and let's try to minimize the damage we take in injuries. As far as the people that are already banged up, maybe potentially getting them hurt a little bit more. Let's get into the bye week, whether it's whatever. I guess it'd be 7-2, right? Potentially 7-2. That's wild to think about.
I would feel better though if we did win going into it at 1-1 in the division, just because we had the Bears coming right up, and then after that we play the Vikings, Lions again. We got to make in the Bears. So are we going to go in with 2 division losses or 1-1? Because that's exactly what I was thinking.
Just here to tell you, Packers back.
You heard it from a fan right here.
Oh, he's so good at it.
He married it up perfect.
He's so good at it.
We're never going to beat that. Let's get out. All right, we're done. We will see you in the morning. Tim said he's going to get up in the morning. I got to find a coffee. I got to find a coffee shop in the morning is my goal. Like, no, there's no DoorDash up here, right? So what I got to do is I got to get up at the butt crack of dawn and try to get out here and say, okay, where's the nearest coffee shop that's open?
Right. Where's the nearest cell phone tower to get reception?
Yeah.
To find the nearest coffee shop.
This pizza place, though, man, I'm trying to think of the name of it. It was their address on Main Street, bro. It was hopping in there. I walked in. It was shoulder to shoulder. They had the Jets game on replay from, I guess it was last night. Yep. It was awesome. And this is a really cool place. If you guys ever find yourself in North Carolina and you want to just check out a really cool kind of backwoods town, it's called Highlands, North Carolina, and it's awesome, dude. It's really, really neat. So it almost looks like a little mini Aspen or something, like an Aspen, Colorado or something. And you can see in my name there too, right? I'm on assignment in BFE, so that's just try to keep it professional around here. So, guys, I appreciate y'all. Thank you for being patient with the chirping and everything. And we'll be back in the morning at I guess 8:30 Central Time. All right, if Tim is comfortable with that. Tim, you comfortable with that, man? He said no comment. All right, well, maybe they're not the morning show. I don't know. I do know this: Emilio ain't getting up in the morning. It ain't happening.
No, hard no. I'll probably be going to bed like 2 or 3 in the morning if you need me.
All right. So right now, stay flexible. Is what we'll say. All right. We may be back in the morning. We may not. I don't know. We'll see. Everybody have a good night. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. Help me out here, Tim. I know you got a cue up, man.
Oh man, I missed. Oh wait. For those of you,
You're an amazing person. You know that, don't you?
It's close enough right there. Just go out and listen to me. Just go out and try to do something productive in the community. That's all you need to do. Bye.